Today on Hopped Up Beer Review, we're going to try Must Be Earthed. It's a chicory coffee porter from Pipeworks Brewing Company out of Chicago, Illinois. Thank you for joining us. What do you say? What do you know? We are back for another beer review show. Welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer we are drinking and reviewing. I've got Andy in the attic. I've got Jay. He's looking for something. I am Ben. What are we drinking today, gentlemen?
We're going to Pipeworks. We're going to have their Must Be Earth. It's a coffee chicory porter.
I know you were super excited.
Coffee and chicory.
His favorite thing. These are a few.
I will say I really like the can art though. I mean that is pretty cool. I'll
give it to him for the can art.
You like the can art? Yep, it is neat.
Let's I'm going at this with an open mind.
Good.
And I'm gonna see how well the chicory and the coffee and the porter go.
Well, it is a pretty dark color, I can tell you that much. Ooh. I can smell that chicory.
But there's not much of a coffee smell to it.
Yeah. All right, who's ready to dive in?
Cheers, mates.
Cheers. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
But it is there.
Chicory.
Coffee.
I get a lot of chicory.
So, very roasted. This is 5%. Must Be Earthed. It's the name. Chicory. What is chicory? Do you know what chicory is? It's a flowering plant.
I've known. I just
the petals can be brewed and stuff, but it's typically used. The root is typically used to flavor. It's ground and roasted. It is woody, earthy, nutty flavor to it. It's originally a coffee substitute, and it just contains no caffeine. It was brought over to the United States from by French and Acadian immigrants through to New Orleans. And for those who are been to New Orleans, they love their chicory coffee down there. Cafe du Monde sells them. I was like, oh, okay, I'll try this chicory coffee. And I was like, there's this weird spice flavor to it. So I'm telling you about chicory because there's not much to talk about this beer. It was interesting because I want to know a little more about chicory. The use of chicory was revived during the Civil War because of a Union blockade down outside of New Orleans, and New Orleans was the second biggest port for coffee import. So that's when the chicory came back in style, and the South
going strong ever since.
Yeah, the stubborn people doing it.
So it's interesting to me that this is a Chicago beer, and you're talking about New Orleans.
Yeah, the Blues Trail goes from to Chicago. Just go up 55. Sure. Pipeworks Brewing Company, Chicago, Illinois, originated in 2012. It's a microbrewery. There's no tap room, and they only have to go curbside pickup at their production facility. They self-distribute in Illinois, Milwaukee, Madison, and they use some distributors for out of state. So
Yeah, we can get it in Alabama. We get a tremendous amount of it.
Interesting.
Hmm. Yeah, it started coming into Alabama about at least a year, probably 2 years ago.
I'm super surprised then you haven't grabbed this for the review yet.
No,
I'm
I
super
would not touch
surprised.
this. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I get ones that have names like Ninja versus Unicorns and things like that are their IPAs. But
Well,
See,
the
that's
name is
why
I've
we.
had
Yeah.
I've had a lot of Pipeworks, and they do some really good beer. I will say that, but I haven't. This would not be one that I would put on my high list of trying.
Well, that's why we do this show, because you try beer that you wouldn't try. I try beer that I probably wouldn't grab.
You are exactly right.
So there you go.
You're
Just got
exactly
in.
right. I mean,
What were you showing on the can there?
That's a cool label. The Pipeworks.
Hmm?
So
Yeah.
you get the wrench along with the paddle, the mash panel.
and I'll tell you, I mean, they have some great beer names, can art. We're talking about it with this one. It's great can art. I mean, they have. I remember one of theirs that they had that was an IPA that I loved. It was called Water Balloon Toss, and it had all these water balloons all over it. And then, like I said, Ninja versus Unicorns is another one that is an IPA that they have that's a double, and it kind of has that can art of the unicorn versus the ninja. And I was trying to remember what else they had. I think they had one called Socks and Sandals Weather. That would probably fit right in with you, Andy.
Why did you say that? Have you ever seen me in socks and sandals?
No, I'm just kidding with you.
Why? Just because I review from an attic.
You seem like that guy. You seem like the type.
I'm like, I should be in a robe and socks and
Yeah.
sandals. Yeah. Don't leave the house.
All right. So I guess we've established that nobody here has had this. I provided it, so I'm going to go last. Andy, what do you think?
The first sip was Smack Your Face Chicory, and I'm not a fan of chicory. And the more I drink it, I get more of the coffee, the roasted flavor, and the chicory becomes less intense, and it becomes a lot better. So I'm going to judge it more on the entire drinking experience and not just the first few sips. I would have it again. It's pretty easy. I give it a 7.0. It's in a list of in a line of porters, and I had some of the other ones I've had, and I only had to choose one. I wouldn't choose this. I'd choose some other porters over this, just on the chicory. Acquired taste. It's like some people like pickle beer.
I like pickle beer. So, yeah, I understand you guys and trying and tasting the chicory, got the earthy taste to it. The very first sip of this I take, there is no smell to it, but the first sip I take, I get coffee. Jay, not a coffee fan. And then you add chicory, which is a coffee substitute without caffeine, albeit. I will say, if that was something I had to go down that path, maybe I would do that, because I haven't had traditional caffeine or a soda with caffeine or anything like that in probably 15 years, which people probably think is crazy in and of itself. Yeah, I mean, I will finish this beer, but I'm not going to go search for more of these. This is probably a 6 for me.
I've got another one or two that I could send your way.
Nope, you can keep those.
Okay. All right. So I think Andy and I kind of have a similar experience here. That first sip for me, I didn't really get coffee much at all. The first sip, it was just all chicory. And I'm not a big chicory fan either. Why did we get this beer? This is another one that had some relatives in Chicago. They were at a beer store, FaceTime. Hey, what do you want? It's kind of hard
That's
to
a cool
pick
can.
out. Basically, yeah. And so it was all marketing. But hey, it's something completely different from a brewery that we had not reviewed, and this is the first one that we're reviewing of theirs. Even though Jay, you've had some of theirs.
Really? Okay.
So, that's why I grabbed it. Just something different. So I think all of us were a little
Larry.
yes, thank you. About this beer. And it's not the chicory on the front end, the very first couple of sips, like Andy said, was not great. Is not really what I was looking for. I mean, it's what I expected, but it wasn't, not what I like. But it has calmed down. It's muted. It's do get more of that coffee flavor. It kind of flattens out to me to where it almost the coffee, the chicory all kind of blends, and I don't want to say the flavor kind of drops to where it's not much of a flavor at all after several sips for me. Just all kind of flattens out. So I think for that reason and the chicory, it's okay. But I've got another one of these. I don't know that I have to have it necessarily. I mean, I'll get around to drinking it eventually. But I'm gonna. Yeah, I've got a buddy from work that loves chicory. I actually may give it to him. So shout out to Leron if you're watching.
I don't even want to know how you came up talking about chicory.
He bought some chicory coffee one time.
He doesn't want to know, Ben.
I told him anyway. So with that,
you're a horrible person.
I'm going to give this a 6 as well. So I think it's okay. I would drink it again if it was handed to me. I'm not going to buy it if I see it. Put it that way. That is going to give us a 6.3 for the very interesting
Must Be Earth from Pipeworks out of Chicago, Illinois.
There you go. Jay, I mean, like I've always said, if either one of y'all want to take over this part of the show, be my guest.
I could never do your job, Ben.
I think you could.
No.
If I didn't show up for work one day, y'all would just go right ahead and you wouldn't even skip a beat.
No, the IT manager would look at me and go, what?
With that, be sure to like, subscribe, and cheers that notification bell. We would definitely appreciate that. Check out all the social medias that we have listed below. Come say hey in our Hopped Up Beer Review Discord server. It's a chat room, and we are there chatting with ourselves and some other people. And also, if you're interested in any Hopped Up Beer Review merch, we have a link for that as well. Lots of links, lots of great information down in the description. Go check that out. Randy in the attic and Jay, I am Ben.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Chicory, mates.